thing. I'm going to have to edit this out. Hey guys, it's kind of mayhem over here. You are watching or listening to Cruel Summer Camp Podcast, the most inclusive Cruel Summer podcast, where you got to be cruel to be kind. I am Kelly, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Pamela.
Hi, Kelly. Hello, everyone.
It's a little mayhemic. Is that a word?
It's Sunday scaries, but we're already on Manic Monday.
Yeah.
At 7:45 p.m. Pacific time Sunday.
Yeah. It's been a week. I'm sleep deprived. I'm not sure if I even know my name at this point.
It's Kelly.
Thank you.
It's Kelly. I'm Pamela.
I would like to say I'm also officially stupid. If which, you know, it's I often, sorry, my Yellowjackets Letterman jacket is falling off my chair here. You know, I always pick nicknames from Yellowjackets is the first show that I've ever covered. It's what got me into podcasting, and there's a lot of humor in Yellowjackets, so it's always very easy to pick a nickname for the week. There's not as much humor in Cruel Summer, so it was a little tougher to pick a nickname out for this week, but I heard officially stupid. I'm like, okay, I'll go with that one. I like it. It fits.
I don't have a nickname for this week. I'll come up. I'll think of something. I'll come up with something.
There you go. But I would like to say I very much appreciate how on brand you are.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm dressed just like Megan in the pilot. For our folks who are listening, just imagine the most adorable blonde girl you've ever seen in your life, in a pink t-shirt and denim overalls. And I have a scrunchie in my hair, which I did feel like Megan needed a scrunchie. She didn't have one. What's up with that?
I also have a scrunchie in my hair, but you can't see it. And mine's velvet.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly, do you think when the Freeform executives were like coming up with this show, they just were like, okay, let's run through Taylor Swift's discography. In here somewhere has got to be a song title that we can use as a show title, and then everything else will come afterward. Because I feel like that Taylor Swift came first, and then they're like, good title.
Possibly. I mean, I still think of, like, I mean, you know, you're a lot younger than me. So I still go back to the Bananarama song every time I think of Cruel Summer, the 1980s Bananarama song. But yeah, I mean, Taylor Swift is definitely a lot more recent. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's very clever because it's really genius. I mean, it comes on, you know, it comes on every summer. It's a show that takes place over the summer. It's really brilliant. And I really am kind of in love with the name of our podcast because it's,
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that Cruel Summer is also an anthology, so it's kind of united by the cruelties of the summer.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all the characters are all in their own worlds. There's no, or I mean, I don't know. Don't know if they're planning it season 4 or 5 down the line, but there hasn't been any crossover or anything. It's really just separate storylines that are all about these awful things that happen over the summer, which I think is just so fun. And it's a really good way to keep like teen drama storylines very fresh, you know?
Yeah, it's for sure. But I am a fan of anthologies, but the one thing that disappoints me though is that we will never get to see Kate Wallace get justice.
Uh, so I think once we finish season 2, we're gonna go back and cover season 1.
Yeah.
So we will talk about this in greater detail, but
Mhm.
the finale of season 1 really sent me through a loop. I was so blown away, and
I felt so manipulated. I
I
have never
know.
felt more manipulated by a TV show.
I got tricked. And they revealed it in the last like 15 seconds.
I know. Like, I was just oh my god. I was just and I'm afraid to talk about it because it is an anthology. So people can watch season 2 and follow along with us without having to watch season 1. So we probably really shouldn't talk about it. But um yeah,
We'll talk
yeah.
about it eventually. I can't wait to rewatch season 1.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And season 1 had a great soundtrack too, much like season 2.
Yeah.
So far. But I'm excited. We are lucky enough to have access to the episodes in advance, which makes things a little easier recording wise.
Yeah, thank you Freeform PR.
Yes, thank
Appreciate
you very
it.
much. I so far we both have only watched the first 2 episodes.
Mhm.
That is not self-control on my part. That is just a matter of time on my part. I would love to be able to watch all of them right away, but yeah, it's just oh god. Um I am actually for those of you who are tuning in who have been following the Antler Queens podcast, um thank you for coming over to the Cruel Summer Camp podcast. Um, we are actually Pamela and I are actually going to try to bust out a bunch of these recaps in advance because I am actually having surgery on June 14th, which is kind of exciting. And we are if we don't get to cover that much in advance, I'm going to be podcasting from the couch. So we're not going to miss any episodes. Don't worry. I might just be a little high, but we'll see what happens.
Which that's great. Who doesn't need a little hi Kelly buzzing in your ear talking about what Megan did this week? That sounds great.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, so I kind of like I think if I remember correctly with the first season, I I think we for the most part had a good idea of the dynamic between the girls, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think we pretty much understood the that they kind of like one kind of was a little bit obsessed or fascinated with the other, and they weren't really friends. And then it was the same, format with the timelines, the coloring of the timelines, which is that's so funny that that's continued. And same with the computer typing. I love that that was a continuous thing that they've brought on with season 2 also.
Yeah.
I was so stupid when I was watching the first season. I was like, why do they keep typing the dates every time? I know the year is first season is like 1993, 1994, 1995. I was like, I know it's those years. Why do they keep reminding me? Then I was like, Pamela, you're so stupid. The month and the day are changing. I just like wasn't paying attention to that. I was just like, yeah, I know it's 1993. Let's move on.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Stupid. Hello. And I'm not on painkillers. So
That's hilarious.
so once you're on painkillers, we'll be on like similar levels, I think.
Yeah. I right off the bat, one thing that one big difference that I'm noticing is I am way more fascinated. I think I was more invested right off the bat with the story overall in season 1. But I am way more interested in Isabella than I was with any of the characters in season 1.
Lexi Underwood, who's playing Isabella, was in Little Fires Everywhere. Did you watch that, Kelly?
I did not.
I highly recommend. I actually read the book and I watched the series. And for me, it was one of those rare instances where I thought the series was actually better than the book, which I'm sure a lot of people will be like, what? But I felt like Lexi in particular did such a great job. She was Kerry Washington's daughter. I think that might have been her first acting role. If not, it was definitely like her big breakout role. And I think she's just such a fantastic actress and really like has brought so much to this character. So I'm really excited because I think Isabella's character, you know, she's very charismatic. She's very like seemingly kind of like a people pleaser, but I think she's got some ulterior motives that we haven't discovered yet. Yeah.
Yeah, she's man, she's super fascinating and mysterious, and I'm really interesting. Like she's the one, she's the number one thing that's just making me want to like watch all of the episodes right away, cuz I want to find out who this girl is. Is she Pat, you know? Is she this Pat Hightower?
Smith.
What's that? Or Highsmith, yeah.
Highsmith, yes. I was like, the worst fake ID name. It said she was born in 1978. I was like, no, you weren't. And also the address said it was Broadhurst Avenue, Beverly Hills. There is no Broadhurst Avenue in Beverly Hills. And I was like, you can't get it passed on me. That is the fakest ID.
Well, I mean, they can't use a real address, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. But I'm like, I mean, I can't look it up in the year 2000 on your smartphone. So not that anyone would know in Chatham, which also where is Chatham? Where's this show supposed to be?
I think it's Washington.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense because Megan wants to go to University of Washington, I believe.
Yeah. Washington or I mean, I don't know, maybe Northern California or something.
Pacific Northwest area.
Yeah, somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. But I am so confused about, like, I wasn't sure. I mean, I don't really know how foreign exchange programs work, but I mean, like, they were, well, I mean, we can kind of get into it. We can kind of start getting into the episode. So the episode was directed by Bill Purple, who we can let me just bring up his credits here.
That's an awesome last name.
I know, right?
That's very cool.
He did work on Cruel Summer season 1 as well. And he's worked on Fire Country, New Girl, and Book of Love.
Fun.
And the episode was written by Bert V. Royal, who has written most of the episodes of Cruel Summer. And the second season of Cruel Summer actually has a new showrunner. Tia Napolitano was the showrunner for season 1, and Elle Triedman has replaced her. And it's an anthology, so it's, that really shouldn't affect things very much. So if you're just checking things out, if you're checking out our show because you're familiar with the Antler Queens and you just kind of want to and you're just curious, you can totally start watching along with us and not even check out season 1 until later because it's an anthology. But the episode opens with some words being typed across the screen, and it kind of explains what's going on. It says that the events that are about to unfold take place on or around July 16th, 1999, December 15th, 1999, and July 16th, 2000. So Pamela and I decided that rather than go back and forth between the timelines, we're going to kind of discuss each timeline separately. So we're going to start by talking about the 1999 summer timeline first. Which is where we start with. And we open up with Megan and her mom, Debbie. They're in this adorable little Airstream trailer. I've always wanted one of those. They're so cute.
It's decorated. Oh my gosh. Like my dream. That's like my dream bed. Also, if I was I'm like, that setup is entirely like my dream as a teenager, to just have my own little house essentially. And
Yeah.
the beaded curtains and the way everything was decorated. My first time watching this though, I immediately thought she lived in there with her mother, and I thought they lived in the trailer together. And I was like, where's Isabella gonna go? And then there was a cut scene of them in the house, and I was like, whose house is this? I was a little confused. I was just a tiny bit confused.
Yeah. And when we see Megan, she looks exactly like Pamela does right now. Which if you're listening to this, which is, she's wearing a t-shirt and overalls, and she's got her hair in a ponytail, and she looks very, very cute, like the girl next door.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they're kind of just getting it ready for what seems to be a foreign exchange student named Isabella.
My Own Worst Enemy by Lit is playing, which is such a great intro song, I think, for Megan and what we kind of come to learn about her later. And that was a great opening shot, I felt like.
Let me tell you, I have an awful, awful, awful relationship with the song.
Oh,
because one of the bands that I was in, they insisted on covering that song. And it was, out of all the songs I've ever had to cover, I fucking hated this one the most.
No.
Because first of all, it was so out of my range. I mean, I could carry it off, but it was a bit too low for me. I didn't really sound good on it. And on top of that, I had to be jumping up and down throughout the whole thing. It was just, oh my God, it was awful. So I've hated that song ever since.
You were, the minute this show started, you were like, ugh.
I was like, I need to text Pamela and tell her I can't do this show anymore.
We're at the 30-second marker. It's like, oh, okay, well,
yeah. But then I brainwashed myself. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna forget I ever heard it. But yeah, I mean, it's, I felt for this girl. She's just like, she's very much of the no new friends mindset. She just wants to get off to college, which according to her is like, over 400 days away. It's the summer before her senior year, but she just wants to get the fuck out of there. I
Or
feel
summer
her.
before senior year, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a little confused. So I guess it is a foreign exchange student program. The conversation between Debbie and Megan was a little unclear to me. I was like, wait, so are you trying, like, is Isabella like paying Debbie to be there and that's helping them pay so they can travel? I was a little I was confused. You were triggered at the opening of this with that song. I was like, huh?
Yeah. No, I'm not sure how it works exactly. I think typically foreign exchange families do actually get paid. But I can't, like, I mean, I know they get paid for expenses. But I'm pretty sure they do get some type of stipend on top of that. Like per month or whatever. But yeah, I think she was more saying like, if I remember correctly, I think Debbie was more saying like, I can't afford to take, what's the sister's name? Lily?
I think so.
Okay. I think she was more saying like, I can't afford to take you and Lily. I can't afford to travel with you and Lily, so I'm bringing I'm bringing another country to you or something like that.
Oh, and Isabella is the other country. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well then that's really the short end of the stick then. They're not
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
no wonder Megan's pissed. I get it. And she's going to be living in her cool Airstream little house?
Right?
Get out. No. No, that's her space.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
that big chunky computer, with that nice fat Dell, or it probably is a Dell with that thick back monitor screen. I was like,
Yeah,
nice.
I know.
Missed that.
With that that freaking awesome keyboard, that those keyboards were so cool back then. But yeah, she's very much no new friends.
Yeah. Almost, dare I say, almost kind of like oh, well, like, I'm not really friends with other girls. I don't really get along with girls. I only get along with guys, which she doesn't say, but she's like,
Yeah.
Luke is my friend. And I was
Yes.
like, the minute she opened with that, I was like, game over. She has a huge crush on him. That's the whole thing. They can't be friends. They're into each other.
Yeah.
I was like, I called it. I know what's up.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally. And then like right after that we see the mysterious Luke. They're walking down the pier together, and she, tells him regretfully that they cleaned out the Airstream for their arrival. And that's where we get the officially stupid line. It's their last summer to be officially stupid. And they meet up with, their friends who are getting ready to head out on the island. But apparently Megan's a little bit too good girl, and she's afraid that her mom will beat her with a yoga mat if she's not there for the
that's the punishment specifically.
Yes.
She's
It's
not
like, come on, live a little,
Yeah, for sure. I will say, growing up in Florida, kids who get drunk on boats, someone does end up like losing a body part. That happens like all the time.
Jesus.
So don't do that. If you're in high school, don't underage drink and get on a boat. That's very dangerous.
So do you have a lot of friends that are missing body parts?
No, but I remember here I was a good girl. I'm fully in Megan summer 1999 character. I'm not underage drinking on that boat. I say gotta go let a stranger in my airstream now. No, I don't have any friends with missing legs that I know of, but I know like friends of friends that would happen to where it's like they fall off the boat and then that can be Cruel Summer season 3.
Yeah. Oh man. Yikes. Um damn. Well, it's yeah, I mean they seem very cute together. I mean they seem like they actually seem like a very cute couple of friends together.
Yeah.
Um but they but yeah, she's clearly got to get back home. Um and which she does, and Debbie's like getting the place ready for Isabella. She's putting out flowers
Expensive
and
flowers, apparently. They
yeah,
they really make a point of driving that home. Mhm.
right? Yeah. And then she arrives and holy shit. Like this chick is glamorous.
Oh, yeah.
I
The
like
platform heels, which reminded me so much of Simple Life, Paris Hilton,
right?
Is-
I like okay, this is 1999 and I swear to god I would wear that dress now.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That was like a staple, those like floral dresses. And I mean, we'll see Isabella later in the 1999 timeline wearing a lot more floral dresses too that are so cute. Isabella's style, the makeup's really good. She has a Chanel encrusted necklace. I mean,
Yep.
oh my gosh, what a status symbol. The only thing I feel like on top of it she could have had was some Louis Vuitton luggage that would
Yeah.
really next time. But I mean, that was it was like logo mania in the 90s and well, especially the 2000s. So that Chanel necklace meant everything.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I noticed that right away. Um, but yeah, I mean, she looks absolutely amazing. Um, and she opens her mouth and there's no accent, which was a little peculiar. She's supposed to be a foreign exchange student, but I mean, she sounds American. Um, but so when they bring her outside, they bring her through the house and then they bring her outside and my god, all I could think of was I wanna live there.
Oh, yeah.
It was so beautiful. Um, oh my god, I mean, the view, like and apparently, like, it's I don't know if it was mentioned if, um obviously, Debbie is a single mom. I don't know if she was ever married. I don't know if she had a husband who died. I don't know if their father was ever in the picture. But she's clearly having money troubles, as we find out. And I mean, I can't imagine that house is cheap.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really interested in talking about Debbie later because we hear some really interesting lines in the other timelines about Debbie's work ethic and it being not very good. So I'm really excited to see where they go with her story and what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, so they're sitting outside and Isabella gives them all gifts that she brought for them. Right away establishing herself as this is kind of screaming Lifetime movie to me. Like, I mean, she just is, I mean, like she's beautiful, she's stunning, she's fascinating. She's glamorous. She's smart. She's super sweet. She's giving them gifts.
Yeah, her international flight where she carried a vase on her
Yes.
carry-on. Incredible.
Could she be any more perfect?
And she's so nice. She seems
Yes.
like really genuine and down to earth and like a kind person. She seems really invested in the family and she really seems like she wants to make friends with them. And I mean, Lily likes her, Debbie likes her, Megan's like just looking off in the distance during the gift exchange. She's like, nice.
Yeah. If this were not Cruel Summer, I would be hating Megan so much right now. I would be like, what is this bitch's problem? This chick is awesome. But it's Cruel Summer, so of course I'm totally side-eyeing Isabella. But yeah, it was really sweet. Like she asked she had asked in advance like what Megan liked, and her mom said she liked mysteries, and so she got her mystery book, um and then later Debbie talks Megan into taking Isabella with her to run errands, which she does. And they go into the she tags along with her. And I think is Isabella already in the crochet crop top at this point?
No, I think that's the next day, but I could be mistaken. But also, very cute outfit.
I know. I'm obsessed with that crochet crop top.
It's so cute.
I know. But okay, I have a big problem. They go to the restaurant where Megan works. I have a big problem with this douchebag.
Oh, yeah. I have a huge note on that. I said bartender flirting with a minor over discussing a Manhattan. Gross. Very ick. And
Yes.
then I said I can't wait to see how Isabella is going to manipulate this guy.
Right? And then just like, I mean, Megan's there to pick up her check. But then just like what he said about her coworker, he tells her that he gave her shifts to this other girl, and she's like, you just like her more because she flirts with you, or you treat her better because she flirts with you. And he's like, I can't help it if she finds me irresistible. I'm like, that's so fucking gross.
Ew, so gross. So inappropriate.
God.
I can't wait for this man to be putty in Isabella's hands.
Yes. Oh, he's so gross. Like right after, right after she tells him that she needed the money for her college applications, which is really sad because like college application fees aren't that expensive.
It adds up so fast.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it tells you like she does it, but it tells you that she doesn't have a ton of money, So it's like it's so, oh god, it's so gross. But yeah, he's just a massive douche. And we kind of get another hint when they leave the restaurant. We get another little like kind of foreboding hint about Isabella. She asks Megan where she wants to go to school, and she tells her University of Washington, and she wants to there's a scholarship she's going for, and she says, what about you? And she's like, school's not really my thing. I'm more a student of life.
I know. That cracked me up. They just really couldn't be more opposite in that regard,
Yeah, for sure.
I also when they were driving in the car, they start talking about why Isabella picked this town, but
yeah,
there's a little wishy-washy, and I feel like something's just there's something's being left out. I don't know if it's a little bit on Debbie's end or if there's something Isabella knows about this town that she isn't revealing, but I felt her answer was kind of a non-answer, you know?
Agreed. Agreed. There's something weird going on about it because I thought it was really strange, and I totally forgot to bring that up too. When they were talking about it, it's like, I don't really know how foreign exchange programs work, but she said something about Debbie's letter to
Mhm.
her, like, she seemed really sweet, and I don't know, that seemed really weird. Like,
Yeah. Because like
and
you're not going to be spending time with your ambassador's mom most of the time.
yeah,
And I mean,
yeah,
Megan is just so off-putting. Like if I was a foreign exchange student, I would be looking for the student that I'd be traveling with to be kind and open and, you know, all those things. Not really like, oh, well, but your mom seems so nice. But I don't know. I feel like Isabella kind of like targeted them, or is there's something going on.
yeah, and she seems to, like, Megan is constantly putting down the town,
Yeah.
and every time she does, Isabella comes back, like, Isabella spins it, you know? She comes back with something, and it's just it's really suspicious the way that she tries to put a positive spin on, like, she keeps pushing it. It's just very, like, she seemed like she's actually defending the idea that everybody is up in everybody's business there. You
Yeah,
know?
which like, girl, when we get to these later timelines, I don't think you're gonna be enjoying that very much.
Right?
But I thought it was interesting. She said something to the degree of like, oh, well, like I try to just live in the moment,
Yeah.
which, I definitely see that in her student of life. I live in the moment, very similar sentiments. Which is so funny because Megan's like, that sounds awful. And Isabella tells her like you should try it sometime. I do think Isabella's definitely more carefree, and she just kind of does accept things like as they are and goes with the flow. Whereas Megan, I feel like, has a lot of pent up resentment and anxiety and unspoken needs and all kinds of things. And I mean, you can feel the resentment coming off her when she has to be with Isabella.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um yeah, they then head into we then see them heading into downtown, and I know she's got the crop top on at this point,
Oh yeah,
the
I think
crochet
you're
crop
right. I
top.
think she actually changed into another outfit to go on the town, which I find very relatable because when I travel places, I switch into outfits depending on what we're doing.
That's hilarious. I love it. Um, but but yeah, actually it's funny because I actually have it in my notes that Megan keeps downplaying everything, but Isabella keeps countering her. And it's so weird. Um, but I love that. I love this. I also put this in my notes because I thought it was so funny. Luke shows up with the sheriff and Isabella asks if he just got arrested.
That was so, and his response, like the whole story about his dad who's in business wanting him to be in business, but he's not interested in that. So
Yeah.
therefore he's like, I know, why don't you go shadow a cop? That's like so funny to me. I'm like, that is exactly, we haven't even met Luke's dad. I'm like, oh, okay. I
Yeah.
understand the type of guy you are.
Oh my god. Oh lord. Um and then Luke and Megan fill in Isabella about the bioluminescence party at the beach. Now, you being originally from Florida and living in California now, are you familiar with this?
No,
Okay,
I've
I had
never.
never heard of this either.
That's I've never seen that on a Florida beach or a California beach or honestly anywhere I've been. I love that this is part of the story though. I feel like I've heard of like bioluminescence, but I don't really know much about it or like where it happens. I would love to go to the Ocean Bloom Festival though. I like will be
Yeah,
attending next time I find one. I thought it was such a niche fun aspect for like a beach town. You know, it reminded
yeah,
me a lot of the Nicholas Sparks book slash movie with Miley Cyrus, The Last Song. That
okay,
one was like also like a beach town, and it was more centered like the turtles are coming up on the beach to hatch their
gotcha.
eggs and lay their eggs, and then the babies go out, which is also a Florida thing. But bioluminescence, I have no frame of reference for it, but it sounds really cool, and I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, I had never heard of that before, and so I looked it up um and I saw pictures of not of parties or anything, but of actual of like of it happening in the water, and it was so cool. Um, so I was like, wow, that's a really cool idea. Um, and like it sounds like it's something that happens yearly, or I don't know, or maybe more than yearly, but they have a party every July 4th. Um, but which which doesn't fit into the timeline because they the events are all supposed to be happening on or around mid-July. So,
Yes, these episodes are actually July 16th.
yeah, and this obviously has to be happening before the 4th of July
Hmm.
if it's so they kind of veered off the timeline a little bit for this.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah, what can you do? Yeah, just fit it
Yeah,
in there.
but that's okay.
It's funny that Luke and Megan make some kind of comment where like it's something natural that happens every year, but of course we had to make it into a big thing for tourists. And then the following cut is to Luke's dad working at a development company that reminds me so much of the OC.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, you're 100% the man who made this an event.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, we see him at work. We finally meet his dad, and um, he apparently works with Debbie.
Hmm.
Um, we then shortly after see them getting out of a car together at the pier, and we find out that they're kind of an item because they're kissing. Um, Now, I will fully admit I was having sound problems when I was rewatching this, and I kind of missed their conversation here. Um, do you recall what they were talking about here?
Um, was this the conversation they were having where, oh, oh, no. I think I'm getting my timelines confused because I remember Debbie kind of telling him he's still sexy because he was like, I'm gonna have some investors at the party, but I think that's the winter 99 timeline. So I'm not sure of this one, but I did clock he called his secretary sweetie a couple times.
Yes, he did. Yeah, that was kind of cringy.
Yeah, I was like, hmm.
Yeah, he's a weird dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and he seems to run the town. Oh,
Yeah.
wasn't he talking about talking to a senator? It was some business stuff that I feel like will definitely come into play later. Unfortunately, I don't remember what it is, but I do remember him saying he was going to be speaking to a senator about it in
Okay.
their little office exchange, which was interesting.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, yeah, that makes sense. He like this actor, I swear to God, it was driving me nuts. I don't know. I feel I think he's just one of those people who looks like a lot of people because I haven't seen him. I looked him up and I haven't really seen him in anything, but I feel like I have because he just has one of those super familiar faces.
He's a
Um,
Freeform dad, you know?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we get back to the downtown scene, and Luke and Megan are introducing Isabella to their friends, and their friend Jeff is standing there with his camera recording, and
Some
he
cinema verite.
yeah, cinema verite, and he seems to be a little sweet on Megan.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
he's
mostly shots of Megan's reactions, which I feel like is something that will come into play later as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, he tells her, "You lucked out. You couldn't ask for a better host than Megan," and he just kind of zooms in on her, um,
Yeah.
which is interesting because it immediately cuts to a scene of Winter '99 of Megan and Luke getting it on,
Yeah.
which we'll get to later. But it's just interesting that it go like that's the next scene, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, getting back to summer of '99, Megan and Isabella get to the beach. The bioluminescence looks super cool.
Looks so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks really awesome. Isabella asks Megan how long she and Luke have been dating. She says he's like her brother.
Sure.
Um,
Sure,
right?
sure, sure. I was like, "Wow, what a lie. Truly what a I mean, classic, like, "Oh, no, I don't have a crush on him." But I'm like, also, Isabella, I feel like she can read people so well, and she had to have known that was a lie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
Um, but and Luke, I I kinda really like Luke so far. I don't know, he seems like a cool kid. Um, he he approaches Megan a little later and he's like, "You know, Isabella's pretty great." And he tells her she's not the best at letting people in. And you know, he tells her she should give her a shot and she's just like, whatever. Um
Yeah.
and then Isabella actually later comes up to Megan and says, "Are you sure there's nothing between you and Luke?" And she says, "Yeah, I swear." And she's like, "All right, I'm gonna go for it." Um, and I just want to point out there's a very interesting timeline cut here, which I loved. Um, it cuts from the 1999 summer timeline to the 1999 winter timeline to the 2000 summer timeline, and it's 1999 summer, Megan watching Isabella flirting with Luke, looking kind of sad about it. Um, and then 1999 winter, Megan watching Luke and Isabella interacting at the party and smiling like genuinely because
Yeah.
she seems to like really trust and love them. And then 2000 summer, Megan watching his paramedics pull a body out of the lake
Out
or
of
out
the
of the
boat.
ocean.
Yeah.
It was a really cool shot. It was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
Um,
In at the bioluminescence bloom festival though, I mean, there's so many good shots of like Isabella just immediately clicks with this group of people. Like Luke
yeah,
obviously likes her. She's taking drinks with all the other kids who are also drinking. I mean, that's rough when your best friend and everyone else that he hangs out with by proxy drinks and you don't drink. It's like that's going to make you like Megan feel so left out so
mhm,
easily, and I think that like that on top of Isabella just being so charismatic, like she just fits like a glove with this group of people in a way that probably Megan has never. So there's just so many shots of her watching Isabella and being so upset.
and I mean, can you imagine like when someone comes in that fits in that well, that's that charismatic, and that is basically that looks like that, and that's that stylish and that perfect and that like I mean, she's so intimidating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, God, it's how can that not drive anybody crazy?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Um, but I mean, even if Megan loved her right away, that's still got to be intimidating as hell. Here's
It's
this.
very intimidating.
I mean, oh
Mhm.
my God. Um, but they eventually go home, and Megan actually apologizes to her for going through her stuff, which was kind of cool. I mean, it was kind of big of her.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she got caught like red-handed completely,
Yeah.
and I mean, that was good that she fessed up to it. I also thought it was interesting, Megan was sniffing her perfume when she went
Oh,
through
that's
her
right.
stuff. I was like,
Yeah, and I
"Hmm."
totally forgot, like, I accidentally skipped over that scene earlier. Um, but, yeah, she was sniffing her perfume, that was interesting.
Yeah, and also she found a floppy disk, so you love to see a floppy disk in the
Yes.
1999.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, I thought that was really big of her to apologize because
Yeah.
it's it definitely shows some growth on her part because she could just kind of ignore it and forget about it, and it's it shows that she actually is kind of feeling bad.
Yeah.
Um, and, that's about it. I think that's the end of the
Yeah, that's
1999
that's
summertime.
the end of summer 1999, I believe.
Yeah. So why don't you take us into the other 2 timelines?
All right. So first we got winter 1999. We know it's winter 99 because this timeline is extremely blue. That
Mhm.
is the easiest way to differentiate. They're watching the Spice Girls. Lily and Megan are watching TV. The Spice Girls are on. We love a Spice Girls reference. Isabella comes in with the mail. She's wearing I don't know what texture that is, but it's like a fuzzy top with a matching pastel cardigan. And that like fuzzy material, whatever it's called, I loved that when that was popular in 1999. Like I wanted everything with that, like hats, the sweater. I love Isabella's fashion in this show. It's so good.
I know,
um
I know.
she opens the mail and Megan finds out she got the Gates scholarship, which I'm pretty sure is a Bill Gates scholarship. I thought that was a funny little thing because she's into computer science and wants to be a coder. So they're really excited. They're obviously very good friends, and they talk about getting in trouble over winter break, which is interesting and very different than what we've seen of Megan our sobered sister of 1999,
Yes.
not really participating in anything. We haven't seen her drinking yet at this point or doing anything crazy, but I kind of get the sense that she does, and that, you know, she's kind of been assuaged by Isabella at this point.
Now, one thing that I found really interesting. Okay, first I just want to say I thought I thought Megan was so adorable in the scene when she's sitting there and she's like smiling watching the Spice Girls. I just thought her little smile was so adorable. But I thought like I thought eh, they're very um they're very particular with appearances in this show. Like they they really change, like they're very particular about how they change the girls' appearances
Mm-hmm.
in each timeline. And I like what they're doing, especially with Isabella in here. Um, because obviously they're changing, obviously Megan's appearance is changing, but Isabella's appearance is also changing too. She's a bit
Yes.
toned down.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
She progressively gets more toned down the later we see her. Whereas Megan, I've been calling her an edge lord.
like right now in the Winter 99 timeline, they're kind of like they're kind of even, you know?
Yeah, they're kind of even, and we see Megan ask Isabella if she can borrow a dress, and then Isabella's like, yes, of course. So I mean, they're sharing a closet, you know.
Yeah.
So this is the most aligned in their wardrobe that they will be probably in the series. I love this little snippet of time for Megan. Like, we see her genuinely happy. She finally got the thing she's wanted for so long. We also see Megan and Luke kissing. Obviously, we knew they were into each other. So I'm happy that they're together and like they got over this kind of back and forth hidden feelings thing that was going on summer 1999. But also, like, Isabella was like going for him. So what's going on?
Right.
That's a little, seems like everything's fine, but that's a little awkward.
Yeah.
That's a little awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
I think at this point, then Megan tells Isabella there's something that they really have to do together. It's really important. It's a big thing of their friendship. And when we cut back to Winter 99, they're at the edge of this cliff. Megan kind of gives this long, heartfelt spiel about what a great friend she is. I think we hear her call Isabella a ride or die friend too at this point. Isabella seems so uncomfortable. I think she's very not into jumping off this rock,
Yeah.
but it was kind of interesting because I feel like she was also uncomfortable with everything, all the kind words Megan was saying to her. What was your read of that?
Yeah, I noticed the look on her face. And she she looked kind of like her brow was kind of furrowed. She looked yeah, she didn't look like she was being very receptive. She looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, it seemed like there was some kind of like one-way tension.
Mhm.
Also, I love that jacket she was wearing with like the faux fur white trim. So cute. Toned down, I'd say a little more like bohemian than
Yeah.
what we saw her in earlier. It reminded me a lot of Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. I feel like Lindsay Lohan has a jacket like that
Yeah.
as well. So good.
Yeah.
I also think on that note, Isabella should really have a French manicure summer 1999. I think she
Yeah.
would have had French tips for sure.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So someone had like silver, which I thought was fine, but I was like, oh no, it was all about the French manicure.
For sure. By the way, I think I didn't have that exact set, but I had a bra panty set almost exactly like hers.
That's so funny. That's
With the
awesome.
daisy straps.
Yes, it's so cute.
Yeah. I got a kick out of that.
So good. But yeah, they jump in. That must have been miserable though. Oh my
Oh my
God.
god.
Just awful. When I was in school in Boston, people would always jump in the Charles River.
Oh jeez.
That thing, don't ever do that. One, it's cold. Two, God knows what's in it.
Yikes.
Come out was don't get in the water. That's my number one.
Lord.
That's my number one rule this episode. Don't get in the water. Don't get in the water drunk and underage. Don't get in freezing water if you don't know what's in it.
Here in the Chicago area, they do I forget when I'm totally forgetting what it's called. It's called like the polar plunge. And it happens, God, I'm forgetting when am I already having senior moments? Jesus. It's like every year at some point during the winter. It might even be like in January. Everybody jumps into Lake Michigan. And it's just ridiculous.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I've never had a desire to jump off a really high cliff or
Yeah. No.
no.
Neither.
We cut back to Megan coming in her kitchen, and her mom congratulates her on getting this scholarship. And there's a really interesting line where Megan's mom says she wishes she had the drive that Megan had, which kind of felt like out of left field from what we've seen in the show. I mean, she didn't seem like she's not working hard at Luke's dad's development firm. I have no reason to think that the mom isn't good at what she does. So that comment really caught me off guard. And Megan kind of jumps to her defense and is like, oh, well, like you've done the best you could.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was interesting. I feel like we're gonna have some more Debbie development later.
I hope so. She's an interesting character. I like her so far.
Yeah, I feel like the show gives us a lot of throwaway lines about Debbie that like have me doing a double take every time. Like they'll throw something out, I'm like, huh? Wait, excuse me?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then I think this is where we see Luke's dad and Debbie kissing. He's making some kind of joke about how he's not hot anymore, and she's like, oh, well, like all the women are after you, including me, smooch. So that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, like mother, like daughter. That's a little awkward. And I was like, that could be Megan could be dating her stepbrother.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, a little weird. And Luke's dad mentions having a lot of really important investors this year coming to the Christmas party. And I think the senator comes up again. So a lot of important people coming to the Christmas party this year.
My setup is just falling apart. I'm not going to be doing any ASMR later tonight. My pop filter just fell off, in case anybody is wondering what we're laughing about, that is listening to this versus watching it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. The drugs are kicking in. We're both out of our mind on the painkillers.
All
Just
right.
laughing at the imaginary things happening around us.
Oh my gosh.
Disregard.
All right. Sorry for the distraction.
No,
Go
it's
ahead.
no problem at all. So then, you know, Megan and Luke are getting it on at some cabin. I think it's a cabin. It's not really specified in this episode, but I think based on what I've heard from episode 1 and 2 is that it's some kind of cabin that's on an island that they take a boat to. It's a little bit out of the way, but not so far out of the way. It's owned by Luke's family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're getting it on. They're having a great time. They're mentioning like they're going to college like an hour away from each other. They're going to visit every weekend. Sure, yeah, that's what every high school senior says, and that'll be over by the fall, baby. But actually, for him, it'll be over by the new millennium. And then they hear gunshots and they run out, and it's this man who they think he's you know, just kind of out of his mind, who's just firing off rounds at ducks. Doesn't really seem like he should be doing it there, or I guess he was shooting at ducks or trying to make them go away. That was very weird.
Yeah.
And you know, Luke mentions that the guy thinks the world is going to end once it's the 2000, once it turns the new millennium, which I love that they brought this up because that was a huge thing for such a long time. People thought it was all going to be over, and there were all kinds of features, things being sold to protect your computer and your internet from completely corrupting once it becomes 2000.
Yep. Oh yeah.
It was so funny.
I remember.
And Megan mentions that this guy is coder royalty.
Yeah. Yeah. He like works for Apple or something, right?
Yeah, which, you know, she mentions, I think in 1999, like all the companies she's interested in working for, you know, I mean, it's companies you'd be talking about in tech today, but I was like, not LimeWire? Like, come on. Not even, you're not going to give me Napster?
Right.
She didn't want to work for Napster?
Right? Oh my gosh.
No Napster.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back at Luke's house for the big Christmas party. A lot of people, lovely house, nice setup. Luke's dad, what is his first name? Do you know what it is? I just keep calling him Luke's dad.
I know. I did not catch his I didn't catch his name.
Their IMDb for the cast is not updated for all the episodes yet either.
It's not. So. I'm gonna I'm maybe it'll be in the third episode. Well, I don't think they ever actually said it.
Leave us a comment. Let us know Luke's dad name.
Yes.
Debbie is talking about how it's so cute to see Megan and Luke together. Luke's dad calls it puppy love and says, you know, this isn't meant to last forever. They shouldn't be tied down so young.
Okay, this whole thing was so weird to me. Their reactions to them.
Yeah.
Because okay, I watched Gossip Girl.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And I remember when Serena and Dan were dating and their parents were like kind of getting together and it was such a huge deal.
Oh,
and Serena was like just livid with her mother. And like that's weird. Like it should be uncomfortable for them to even acknowledge it, you know?
Yeah, especially, I mean, in high school, that's like so awkward.
Yeah.
Why isn't the town talking about that?
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's it's the whole thing is just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
very, and it's interesting how much judgment the dad is passing on this relationship. They clearly do not agree about their children's relationship, and he, I think, just kind of like walks away. The conversation just ends. I would be like, "Or excuse me, what are you saying about my daughter?" Which
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be coming in, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure how much we're gonna
Yeah.
see of Debbie and all the parents. But I feel like with this mystery, it's got to be tied up a little bit in what's going on with this business.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Um, and I imagine that this this neighbor dude at the cabin probably is involved somehow. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, it's very interesting. I have a I'm not liking Luke's dad very much.
Yeah.
He seems kinda he's I don't know. He kinda gives me the heebie-jeebies a little bit.
Yeah, he seems like he's really coercing I mean, I think even just by 1999, we don't even need to get to 2000. It's like you can feel how much he's trying to coerce his sons into being a certain way, and he
Yeah.
has expectations for them. And Brent, Luke's brother, seems to be living up to those expectations. I mean, in just like how he behaves, I feel like he's more similar to the father. Whereas Luke is kind of like off doing his own thing. It seems like he doesn't really know what he wants to do, which his dad really does not like.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
seems like a nice kid, you know?
Yeah. I feel like Luke will want to play the guitar. I feel like he doesn't want to go to business school. I could just totally see him being like, "Dad, my passion is music."
Yeah. Oh, poor kid. Man, get the fuck out of that town now.
He doesn't want to be a cop. He doesn't want to be in business. I mean,
I
it's
know.
not over. There's a lot of other things he can do.
Oh,
He still
man.
has a bright future ahead of him for like maybe 2 more months until,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
Um
god.
yeah, so at this Christmas party, we're seeing Megan drinking and like in front of all these parents. I was like, "Whoa, no fucks given, I guess."
Right? And, I so I had mentioned this to you before we started recording, but I was obsessed with Megan's outfit during this scene because she was wearing this short shift dress with a cardigan over it. That was my uniform back around this time period. That like I lived in this. I worked I worked a full-time job, but I was also very, very young. And so I also worked a part-time job at Crabtree and Evelyn just because I loved their products and I had the energy to work a part-time job. And so I did because I could use the extra money and I got free shit. Um, and we had to like dress nicely. So I would wear dresses like that. And that was basically I lived in shift dresses and cardigans. And so what Megan was wearing at this party, I wore like every day of my life. So I
I
was
love it.
obsessed.
It was so cute. It was Isabella's too. That's the dress she borrowed from her.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So what she was wearing is pretty much what I lived in. So
It's so
I was kind of
funny.
obsessed.
Um, yeah, they're getting rowdy. Like the teens at this party are drinking, having a good time. Luke, I mean, definitely doesn't want to go to this business school.
No.
His dad is very proud in the toast that he's following in Brent's footsteps, who also goes to, I think the school's named Branson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
Branson.
they're all going to the school. Luke is just obviously so not into it. Megan's being supportive of him. He's like they're like separating, walking ways, and he's like, "I love you," and then just kind of that was like the goodbye. And she was like, "Wait, excuse me, that's the first time you said you love me." Like, oh,
It was
very
cute.
very adorable, very real.
Yeah.
That was a sweet moment.
It was cute. And she was like she seemed very genuine. She's like, "I love you too."
Yeah, I really liked this part of this. This is really before everything went completely wrong. It's
Yeah.
really like Megan's high of like she has everything. She's got the best friend. She has an adorable boyfriend. She got the scholarship. Like everything's going right
Yep.
until
Yeah.
but meanwhile things seem good between Isabella and Megan at this point. At one point, Isabella's talking to Luke, and like you mentioned earlier, Megan's completely unbothered by it. I think Isabella is I don't know if she's making plans to hook up with the bartender or just get booze from him. Could you tell?
Um she came up to 'cause Megan and Luke were talking and she came up to them. Isabella came up to them and said something about she was talking really fast and it was hard to understand or hear her very well, but she said something about and with the screeners we don't have subtitles, so it's
Mhm.
um so unfortunately we don't have that benefit. But it so I was trying to like I played it back a couple times and all I could make out was something about he's going to school in France. Um and it sounded like she was going to flirt with him.
Yeah. And then I think it's Megan has a line, is he hot enough that you don't care?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is so interesting. I mean, that's very I'm like, I thought that was such a funny line. And I feel like
I
that's something I would say.
I loved Isabella's response to it. She's like, "I think so."
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm like, that seemed very not like a Megan thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Luke points out that it's kinda conniving, and they're like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
Like, that's funny. That's very female friendship to me. I felt like they did a good job with that.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so.
So then, Luke's dad is like, "All right, we're gonna kick it off with my with my dead wife's favorite Christmas movie." And what turns on but a sex tape?
Oh my god.
A sex tape of minors.
Yes.
And everyone on
Surprise! You're witnesses to child porn.
yeah. I know, it's like, why is that not the bigger thing being discussed? Everyone
Oh my god.
assumes that it is Isabella. They all think it's Isabella. I watched it back twice and I'm like, I don't really know why they would think it's Isabella immediately.
I caught it on the second time around. I was confused the first time I watched it. I caught it on the second time around. It was we saw Luke, obviously.
Mhm.
But the only other thing that we saw, because we didn't see the female, but what we did see, what you do see if you look over to the right, you see the sweater that she has on at the party.
Oh.
So
Oh.
everybody just sees the sweater that she's wearing and just puts two and two together.
Oh, okay, because when I watched that scene the second time around, I thought I was like, I think they filmed this. It was filmed the same day it was shown, which is when Luke and Megan are at the cabin. That's where it is because it's the same bedding. So, okay, that makes even more sense then. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone thinks it's Isabella. Megan's humiliated. She runs out. Luke is chasing after her. Isabella runs out. The night's over. Everyone's been exposed to child porn. And that's the end of 1999.
Exactly. Now, okay, before we go into the 2000 timeline, does the 2000 timeline cover? No, it doesn't. It's in episode 2 where we find out that it's supposedly Megan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We find out in a really, what I think is a pretty funny way too.
Yeah. Okay. And it's okay that I mentioned that because we'll be recording that tomorrow and everybody will have likely already seen that because they're playing them back to back. So, okay. Sorry, I just
so they find out. Okay. Yeah, that's in episode 2.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
All right. It's July 15th, 2000. Pamela Mora is in kindergarten.
Oh my God. I gave birth to Pamela, everybody.
That would make it even better if this was like a mother-daughter.
Wait, you were in kindergarten in 2000. So that means you were born in 94? 94. Yeah, I could totally be your mother. Oh my God. Yikes. I mean, I'd be a young mother, but oh God. Okay.
Age
anyway,
is just a number. we're all in the freeform teen drama demographic at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I gave birth to you and then we started a podcast.
Yes. Yeah.
Many years later.
She abandoned me as a child and then
yes,
said,
I did.
Do you want to start a podcast?
I abandoned you. I abandoned my only child, but I kind of need a podcast co-host. So.
I started listening to Antler Queens and I was like, Mom? That can be Cruel Summer season 3.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh man.
I have ideas.
Yeah, please let me in the writer's room.
Oh,
so
Lord.
so much to bring to the table. Oh, anyway, the year is 2000. This time, it's summer of 2000 because everything is so green. It is like a Matrix movie in my head. I feel like at the time of the 2000s, there were so many things that were color graded just like this timeline. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
There was also like a ad, I think, that was like don't download music from the internet. And it reminded me so much of the intro to Megan, where it's like typing on the computer with like a guy in a hoodie, and it's like, this is still stealing. You know what I mean? It was either that or it was like people recording movies in movie theaters, and it's like, this is federal crime.
Yes. And oh my God, Megan totally looks like she just walked off stage from her Garbage tribute band.
Yes, truly. It's so her look is I love the fashion of this show. I think the costume designers did such a great job going through their looks because Megan is, I mean, what would you call that style? Like of the 2000s, like grunge, emo kind of?
Yeah, I would. I referred to it as emo when I was describing it to my husband earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's like it was emo.
It's
Cuz
kind
I'm
of
like,
like post goth emo.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've just been calling her an edgelord, and that's not really right. But she is also into computers, so it kind of
yeah.
works. But we're seeing Megan typing away at her computer. She's in the bedroom of the house. She's not in her what's it called? An Airstream, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I
She
didn't
is up to
really,
no good.
yeah, she's up to no good. No idea what she was doing. I tried to slow it back and read what was on the screen, and I still couldn't understand it. I was like, is she hacking? Is she coding? I'm not really sure, but I feel like she's hacking something.
It's definitely a I was looking at what she was typing, and it's definitely a cyber attack of some sort.
Oh, oh no, a cyber. Oh no. Oh,
Yeah,
Megan. I wonder if she's gonna end up working for that creepy guy on the island.
maybe.
That he's in the pilot, I feel like we haven't seen the last of him, you know?
Oh, definitely not. I can't imagine that. Like, I think he's
Um,
gonna be involved in what a lot of the meat of the story.
yeah, I can't wait to meet that guy.
Yeah.
The police come up to her house and she runs out the window.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Totally innocent behavior.
Yeah, just something innocent people do.
Yeah.
So that's not very good. Then she meets an unknown man, no idea who this is, in some kind of dingy little place. She's giving him a tape. There's not really, we don't know what the tape is. I, I had no idea what that exchange could have been.
Yeah, she mentioned, like, the sheriff's asking questions, and she was like, "Who did you tell?" And she told him that it would be double, whatever that means, unless you don't want it anymore.
There's a lot of tapes in this show. It's very hard to keep track of.
Yeah, right?
Lot of VHSs having a little revival in Cruel Summer season 2. Love to see it. Not sure what was
Yeah.
happening there though.
Yeah.
The following scene in 2000s really cracked me up. Um, Lily has to ask Megan for money to go to the movies, which is also just interesting little money thing there. I'm not sure why. Like Debbie works at a development firm. I would think she has $16 to give to her daughter to go to the movies.
There was a lot of curious stuff going on with this scene. Um, yeah, um, the money, the pills.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot of the pill organizer. Um, it cracked me up. They were like, the movie's it's just $16. I was like, ah, the movie's being $16. Ah, the good old days. And then Megan also calls her sister, says she's dressed like a slut.
Yeah.
And tells her, you know, she tells Debbie that she doesn't want her to get a reputation, which, you know, we kind of see is probably going to happen to Isabella based on that earlier timeline. It's just so funny because like the outfit in question is very of its time and it's pretty innocent in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like a lace cami top with little cherries all over it. And then she has another cami underneath it. So it covers like the middle of your chest, which oh man, that really sent me back. I used to love those tops when I was little. And I did the same thing where it's like you wear you wear two tank tops. I was
Yeah.
so glad we saw that right off the bat, fashion wise.
Yeah. Oh my god, do you remember the trend of wearing, like, tank tops over baby tees?
Oh, yeah.
That was the stupidest trend.
Like all the Ashley Tisdale red carpet looks, any of
Oh
that,
my
like Cruel
god.
Summer. I hope that's what the costume designer reference was. Like,
Oh my god.
not really for Isabella, but I don't know, maybe.
It's like if it had spaghetti straps, you wore a baby tee under it.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it was a dress or a tank top, you wore a baby tee under
Yeah, oh,
it.
yeah, you put a t-shirt underneath it.
Yeah. Oh my
The
god.
best.
But yeah,
Um,
it seemed like Megan was running the house.
yeah.
Like, it almost made me think, is something wrong with Debbie? Like, is she sick? Like, does she have are the pills hers? Does she have health problems? Like,
Yeah, really, really strange. Also, Debbie's role as a parent is very passive.
yeah.
She's very passive. I think it's at this point too. Megan says something where everyone thinks I'm a freak now,
Yeah.
which is sad. And I'm like, well, is that just because you're emo? Because small towns will do that to emos, you know. But
Yeah.
because it's Cruel Summer, I don't think it's just the eyebrow piercing.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Very
One
sad.
thing that I will say is, um, I'm like I've always had like a little bit of an edgier style. I mean, at least when I was younger. Um, by the way, I don't know if you can see, but I've got my Frankenstein earrings on today.
Wait,
Um,
what I wasn't able to hear what you said.
Sorry, I was away from my mic. I've got my Frankenstein earrings on
Oh,
today.
love
I
it.
don't know if you can see. Um, but like, at least when I was younger, I always had like a little bit of an edgier style. Megan's style is fine. Like, I don't judge anybody for their style. It's not quite a style that I would have ever gone for. But the only thing that bugs me about it is it just doesn't match her cute little cabriolet anymore.
I agree. I agree. It's a bit of a complete 180, especially like she had very like blend in girl next door. I mean, that kind of look in a small town is going to draw people's attention. And
Yes.
with what we see in the rest of the timeline, it seems like she wouldn't want people's attention.
Right.
So there's a little bit of disconnect. I'm hoping that we get a little clarity. As far as style, when I was in middle school, I went to a private school. So, we had uniforms. The most, accessorizing you could do is like your bracelets and from Claire's, obviously. I had those like gummy kind of
Oh,
uh
yeah.
like plasticky ones that were like multicolor, like neon colors, kind of like gummy, almost like flame shaped. The texture was so cool. I wish I knew what they were or where I could find them. A lot of
Yeah.
Happy Bunny stuff. But at Halloween, at Halloween time, I carried a coffin shaped purse that I got at
Oh,
the Haunted Mansion. And it said Haunted Mansion on it. I carried it to school. I got bullied ungodly for that purse. People made fun
oh.
of me so bad. And they were like, "Are you emo? Are you emo?" Because like my hair was even dyed black. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup at that point. So there was really
Oh.
no other telltale signs of me being emo other than a coffin purse at Halloween. It's like, come on, it's Halloween. But anyway, I brought that purse to a My Chemical Romance concert a few months ago. It was a good full circle, you know.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Anyway, back to the world of Cruel Summer. It's a cruel world for the emos of the 2000s. You know, it was a hard
Yes.
time. Um, they mentioned the summer ocean glow is canceled. Must be a big deal for that town because I assume tourism probably brings in a good amount of revenue for them.
I
So
missed that. How did I miss that?
I think Debbie mentions it in regards to Lily. She's like, well, now that Ocean Glow is canceled this year, blah, 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 blah. So
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, interesting, because that feels like a Luke's dad thing. So I'm wondering what's going on with that. Megan is going around town. We pass a ripped missing persons ad. Um, when I watched this the first time, I thought for sure it was going to be Isabella who was missing.
Me too.
I thought for sure it was going to be Isabella. Brent's ex comes up and says to Megan, this never would have happened if she hadn't come to town.
Yeah. Yeah. So we
Uh-oh.
and let me tell you, when that happened, here's me thinking all along, okay, Isabella is way too perfect. Way like totally triggering me. This girl is going to like she's way too good to be true. And when when this happened, I started getting triggered by Cruel Summer season 1. And then I'm like, "No, no, Megan's the bad one."
You know, I'm like jury's out. Jury's out. I feel
Yeah.
like they each are kind of this season I feel like both Megan and Isabella are going to live in like a gray zone.
Yeah.
Like
I
a
yeah,
morally gray area.
I think so too.
Interesting also because I'm like, who would have ripped that missing persons ad?
Right?
That feels like, I know this is goofy, but I'm like, that feels like a crime of passion. Someone like passionately was like, ugh, take that down. So I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
It's weird.
interesting. She goes to the pharmacy. Again, we're coming back to the pills. I think it's a prescription for her mom, though.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wonder if she's like yeah, I wonder if she's got some serious health issues and that's why she seems to be running things now.
there's a big emphasis on the pills. And now that we're kind of, I mean, by winter, Megan's drinking. I'm kind of wondering if also Megan is abusing pills.
Yeah.
Were you thinking that as well?
Possibly. Um, I mean, with puzzle box shows, it's so hard for me to like I don't like to start speculating too much within the first couple of episodes because it's like I'm constantly changing my mind
Yeah.
um every 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it would be sad if there's something really wrong with her mother. Um Especially with, her dad clearly not being in the picture. Um and with Luke not being in the picture
Yeah.
and with her clearly like gaining a best friend and then losing a best friend, that would be really sad. Um but yeah, I don't know. But I mean, look at Cruel Summer season 1 though. Even though that character, and I'm trying not to spoil stuff, even though that character fully deserved everything they got, they still went through fucking hell.
Yeah.
So, it's a dark show.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see her racing around town in this adorable little old BMW. I was like, oh, what a cute car.
Yeah, it just
She's
doesn't match her anymore.
doesn't match her. I think oh yeah, no, that's like I guess the family car that she's
Yeah.
always had. I think she goes to the cabin, which wait, she drove there? Isn't it on an island? Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Not gonna think too hard on that one.
She doesn't just drive there. She fucking books it there.
Oh yeah. She's running around town. I'm amazed she had time to pick up the prescriptions while she was running from the cops.
Well, she
But
hears in line that they found a body.
oh,
They pulled a body out of the water, or they found a body in the water, and that's when she takes off.
yeah. So she's in the car and she finds in the driver's seat an awful fake ID that is Isabella's picture with the name Pat Highsmith, born in 1978, Broadhurst Avenue, Beverly Hills, not a real address. That cracked me up.
But are we sure that it's fake though?
I mean, that's also what I was thinking, but I'm like, there's no way that Isabella's real name is Pat.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. Also, whose name is just Pat?
No,
It's like
no one.
Patricia or Patrice or Patrizia or whatever. It's not Pat. Yeah. Nobody's name is just Pat.
The same thought did cross my mind where I was like, wait, what if Isabella is a lie and Pat Highsmith is what's true? But also, wait, if she was born in 1978, how old would she be by 2000? I can't do math.
Like 22, 21 or 22?
Oh, okay. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm like, wouldn't that be funny if the twist is that Isabella's not even a high school student? She's an adult woman.
Yeah.
It's like an orphan twist. That'd be that Freeform would really get me with that one. I'd be like, whoa.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Megan's at the cabin scrubbing blood off the floor like it's nobody's business.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. And I mean, apparently that's what she went there to do.
Oh yeah. It felt like that was the only thing she was doing there.
Yeah.
And I mean, the blood seemed like it looked like, I think the ground was already soapy by the time like they cut to the shot, but I mean, it looked fresh too.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, the blood on the ground versus the body. There's something funky going on with the timeline, which when we talk about episode 2 we can get into it more, but I was like, that's interesting. Then Megan is booking it out of town, but there is tons of traffic. Also, I wonder why there's that much traffic.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's because like the cops are at the pier.
Oh, checking people or something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they might be holding things up. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but she literally leaves her car when she sees the ambulance and she starts running. So she's booking it to the pier where, that's where we first met Luke at the beginning of the pilot. And there's a body coming off a boat. do we know whose boat that is? Or maybe it was a sheriff boat had picked up the body?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was a sheriff's boat.
Yeah.
Because they, yeah, because I think they had found it in the water, like elsewhere, and they were bringing it to the pier.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
And eventually Luke's dad gets the body bag. He insists on unzipping it, which who allows that, but it's okay.
Yeah, I know.
And
I had a problem with that.
that's fine. Whatever. He owns the town, I guess.
Yeah.
And it is Luke who is dead. R.I.P. Also, this was such a funny cut to me. Megan like turns and Isabella is there as if she's just always been there. We never see her walk up. She's just there.
No, we saw her come up from behind.
Oh, we did? Okay.
Yeah. But
okay.
I actually got such a kick out of her appearance.
Her hair is braided. She's the most chilled. Chilled out. More casual, like girl next door style. She's just a complete 180 in fashion, also from how we've seen her previously.
She's got a hoodie on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just so interesting.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, if I was a bystander to this crime and these girls are next to the body revealed to be Luke and it's getting carted away and one says to the other, we need to get our stories straight, I'd be like, excuse me, what was that?
Yeah, talk a little louder, Isabella.
But she says it completely calm, completely chill. Megan is freaking out, but Isabella's doing okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what are your initial thoughts on where this is going?
Okay. I feel like they're trying to set up that there is some kind of love triangle between Luke, Isabella, and Megan. I don't know. I feel like the love triangle is going to be a red herring. I'm not really sure that it's going to be as big of a deal as, and I could be totally wrong about this, but I just don't think it's going to be kind of like the main issue of what got Luke dead, I feel like what's going to happen is it's his issues with his dad in combination with maybe some shady stuff that Isabella and Megan are doing. Maybe Megan's doing something for more money for college and she's wrapped up in, I don't know, if she hacks, maybe she combines with the hacker king of the island hacker king, and she's doing some stuff on the side and Luke got kind of tied up into it. I don't know that they murdered Luke. I feel like they might have had some involvement, but I don't think they did it.
Yeah.
What's your take?
I like how they kind of set it up as I like how they set it up as like a more of a traditional whodunit kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
With the two girls being friends who eventually fall apart versus like adversaries like in the first season.
Yeah.
Well, not even adversaries. One just took over the other one's life. But there's a lot of players this time around.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I mean, in the first season, it was just kind of like there was the two girls and the vice principal, and then the rest were like NPCs, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like there are a lot more moving parts in this season.
I mean, that were dropped into the timeline of that sex tape places a huge importance. I mean, I think that's probably like the inciting incident for whatever leads to Luke's demise, which is
Yeah.
like, I don't know. That's just so interesting to me because I mean, it's 1999. I get that. Like, I guess we're not used to sex tapes in 1999, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm not really sure how that is gonna lock into concluding with Luke being dead. You know?
I think I don't I as of right now, my prediction is that we are going to find out at the end of this. Nobody killed him, at least on purpose. There was either an accident or he killed himself. Um, but something happened that they feel responsible for.
Yeah.
So they clearly are so they clearly feel like they need to cover it up.
Yeah, there's something at play that they know would definitely incriminate them
Yeah.
or make them a suspect point blank. Yeah, I don't think that they did it. I could see Luke killing himself because they do set up that he's really unhappy with his life with his dad and
Mhm.
he's going to this college doing this thing he doesn't want to do and now the sex tape he's kind of worried about how it's going to impact his relationship with everyone else in town who thinks he's a cheater. So,
Yeah. Yeah. God, there's so much that I want to say, but I can't I don't want to talk about it until we recap season 2, which we're doing tomorrow. But it's funny because we'll I mean we'll probably be airing these we'll be airing these not back to back, but practically back to back. Um I mean I'm probably going to put this up almost like right after we record. But yeah, I God there's so many things that I'm wondering about. I think it's off to a really good start. Like, I think season 1 grabbed my attention a little bit more, um, just because I tend to be more interested in stories like that a little bit more. Like, I love the whole taking over somebody else's life
yeah.
trope. I mean, I think that's just so fascinating and juicy. But it's just so campy and lifetimey and fun. Um, but I think this has more substance to it. And I think it'll be a lot more fun to unpack. And I think the cast is really good so far. I think there's a lot more to discuss. And so yeah, I think it'll be an exciting season.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
looking
really
forward.
excited. I was excited by season 1 of Cruel Summer, but at points I would get frustrated in the first season with just different aspects of it and I felt like it kind of would lose my attention even honestly after the pilot it just kind of like would lose me. I was brought in by the concept but then it didn't stick for me. This season is sticking. And
Yeah.
I mean, I think that our two leads, Sadie Stanley and Lexi Underwood. Sadie is playing Megan. She's also going to be doing a live action Kim Possible, which is just awesome.
Oh wow. Oh, how cool.
I think
I
they're killing it, and I think, they're bringing a lot to their characters, and the whole cast is. Everyone's doing a pretty stellar job right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out Little Fires Everywhere because I'm loving Lexi Underwood. I think I really like her a lot so far. Um, I love her character. I think she's so fascinating. Um, and I think she's a really strong actor, and I'm really digging her. I think she's doing a great job. She's really compelling. So I'm and I really just and I mean, it seems like such a minor thing, but I love the way they're working with their appearances.
Yes.
It's
Mhm.
just like, you've got Megan with the overalls and the ponytail and Isabella just so glammed out, and then in the next timeline, they pretty much look equal, and then like, in the final timeline, you've got, like, emo and hoodie girl. It's just
It's a lot of fun, and it's very thoughtful, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I like it a lot, it's really cool. Um, but yeah, so we'll be, I think I mentioned this at the top of the episode. I am going to it's June 4th when we're recording this. So in 10 days, I will be having surgery. Um, back surgery. I'm actually going to be replacing my cyborg parts. I I have a stimulator that it's all messed up from a fall I took over a year ago. So I'm having the battery replaced, and it's in my back, and that is happening in 10 days. So it's a surgery that's gonna I've had it before. It's gonna leave me really sore, um, and unable to sit for very long, for quite a while. So we have access to the first 7 episodes right now. So we're going to try to bust out as many episodes in advance as we can. Um, whatever we don't have time to get to, worst comes to worst, I'm just gonna podcast from my couch.
Painkiller Kelly.
Yes. You're gonna see me with no makeup, a little groggy, with my pregnancy pillow. Seriously, if you ever have back surgery, get a pregnancy pillow. They are the best. Um, but yeah, we're gonna play it by ear. And just do the best we can. Um, if you are just finding us and aren't familiar with the Antler Queens, um, check us out on social media. It's I don't know if the Antler Queen's name is going to stay. That will remain the name of the Yellowjackets podcast for sure. But it's either going to be switching over to everything is either going to be under the Antler Queens or Cyborg TV. I'm still kind of flip flopping back and forth, but there will be some rebranding changes. Um, Basically, everything started with the Antler Queens, uh, with covering the Yellowjackets. I started with the Yellowjackets podcast, and now I'm expanding. So I'm I've got another podcast starting up in August. H Block Queens. It's a Wentworth podcast, and I'm also starting a vlog as well. It'll just be like kind of day to day life, but it's going to eventually transition into mostly disability related stuff. Um, I will also be covering a couple of the upcoming Walking Dead spinoffs. So there's all kinds of stuff happening. Um, if there is a show that you would like me to cover, let me know. I may not cover it, but maybe there's somebody else who would like to cover it on my channel. And I'm bringing on other people. So, um, Anyway, please like and subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm. Let us know what you think of the first couple of episodes, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I need a guy to show me the way. Oh, so set a watch, man. Go set a watch.